Good morning, good morning, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. 5 minutes past that 8 o'clock hour. Central Standard Time, 5 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour if you're on the East Coast. And if you are out there in sunny California, hey, it's 5 minutes past the 6 o'clock hour. It is another episode of hashtag Truth Be Told. Yours truly, Joe Dupree in the building, 100 BLK, the Black Station. My good friend, Fatim Muhammad. You know him from BLS 1075 in New York. You know him from the Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton show. You know him from the Open Lines on WBLS. And he's right here, hashtagging Truth Be Told. Fatim, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Joe. How are you doing, my brother, this morning?
Man, I woke up this morning with some sleep last night like I was on Profilol. I slept like I'm telling you. Now, if a lot of folks, some folks remember that is the stuff. Believe it or not, unless you get a colonoscopy, and I just got one not too very long ago, which hashtag go get your annual screenings. Family, go get your annual screenings. A healthy you is a better you. And if you don't go at least once a year and get checked up, we won't know what's going on with you because you might have some issues that if they are resolved early, they don't wind up stage 4, 5, or 6, or the diagnosis is we can't help you. You're going to die in 30, 60, or 90 days. Come on, family. It is approaching Black History Month. And two things I'm doing. One thing is every day we're talking about Black businesses of color. Be exact, I'm just promoting businesses and events. Free. If you have a business or event that you would like to promote and you want to promote it on this platform, hey, just inbox me or put it in the feed. If you're on the feed right now, share this with a friend. Click like, share. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Click like, share, and be a part of this, what we are doing. Let me bring my camera down too. I'm glad you did that. And family, be a part of this thing. Hashtag Truth Be Told, your Truth Be Told, our Truth Be Told. Let me get the phone line set up while I'm talking about this. But look, you can put your business on display. To be exact, I've been highlighting businesses. It is tax season. Let me highlight this business. www.urbanbusinessservices.com. urbanbusinessservices.com. Listen, it's tax season. If you need a LLC set up, if you need whatever it is that you may need set up, hey, check out this website. If you need tax services, if you need help with your business, getting your business established, check them out at urbanbusinessservices.com. Hey, tell them that JD sent you and hashtag Truth Be Told. They about that life. They are approved. Truth be told, they about that life. That's what I'm saying. Speaking about being about that life, early in the morning, look on the screen. Look
on in the room.
Oh, come on, where?
I said, come on in the room.
Come on in the room.
Jesus is my doctor, and he'll write out all of my scripture, and he'll give me all of my medicine in the room. Hey, good morning.
Come on in the room.
Good morning. Good morning. You should be sitting over there. She should be sitting over there by that piano and playing and singing at the same time.
Yeah, something like that.
We were talking about someone that just sent me a message, said my hair looks full this morning. Right? So this is the reason right here. Exotic Roots by Lex Exotic. It's a black owned, a female right here from Lawtell, Louisiana. Child, number one, if she watching, I'm empty. Okay, I'm empty. But she created it. You can put it on your hair, your skin, and everything. Whoo, baby, thank you.
Wow. Wow. Two things real quick, Joe. Joe, you didn't finish that story about the Propanol. So you was talking about you jumped into the situation where if you go get a colonoscopy. And
yeah.
that's the same thing.
First thing, family, early this morning, 9 minutes past the hour, wherever you may be at. Listen, okay. So I got some sleep last night, like I was on that stuff. Yeah, on that stuff. And I had a colonoscopy, and I highly recommend every man out there go get your annual colonoscopy. Go get your prostate checked, because colon cancer and prostate cancer kills a lot of brothers. And we didn't go get checked because of all the nuances and all the rumors and all the, oh my God, they're not going to do that to me. Well, here's the choice. Do it till you find it early or die. Real simple.
And as a nurse of 27 years, it's not just for the brothers, it's for the sisters too.
I was getting ready for at least on not the prostate now, sisters, but this the
colon. Not that.
For the colon, not the no.
I don't care what's going on. That's not gonna be there.
Exactly.
But I do want to remind the fellas that they think that the procedure is uncomfortable, and I personally cannot attest to the comfort or discomfort of it, but I can tell you that if you don't get it checked, you will find yourself needing more than that, because it leads to erectile dysfunction. It can lead to cancer, and I promise you that 2 little seconds of uncomfortable is worth it.
Exactly. And and Propanol is also something that they use when you go for surgery at a surgeon dentist, because I remember the dentist said count backwards from 10 to 0. And then I woke up and I said, Doc, I'm at 5 or 4. He said, I'm done. Right. And that was the best kind of flying I've ever had, and that's the same thing that killed Michael Jackson as well.
Right. So that's why I wanted to talk about it, because until you experience it, because when I experienced it, I was like, I had my colonoscopy, and listen, family, it's not what you heard. It's not what you heard. When you go for the procedure, it's literally like Fatim said, somebody will tell you, can you say something, and you'll start talking. And the next thing you know, you'll open your eyes and say, I didn't finish saying, did I finish? And they'll look at you and say, it's all over. The procedure probably lasts everywhere from, I don't know, an hour to maybe an hour and a half. However, you literally felt like you have slept all day. I mean, if not all week. I
got a different experience. Now, all of the quick go to sleep is the truth. But be prepared if you wake up and you just cry for no reason for about 55 seconds. I felt retarded. I came up out of the anesthesia and I was like, well, y'all told me we was gonna be done already. So my friend was like, Shauna, what's wrong? I don't know. So the nurse says, that's just the side effect. It'll go away in a minute. And then poof, I was back to whatever normal is. But yes, please go. I have mine this week, so I know exactly what's about to go on. It's so funny listening to Joe tell a nurse about a procedure. That means you paid attention. Very good.
Look at that part. Brother Fatim, I'm going to let you take the lead for a second. I need to make sure some connections are connected correct. Come on, let's go.
All right. So what I'm going to jump in here is what's happening in our neck of the woods. So here in New York City, the trial for the late DJ of the group Run DMC, Jam Master Jay, is going into the second day. Today is taking place. There are 2 folks that are being tried for his murder. There's going to be another one tried at another time. And 2 witnesses have come forward and told what they saw. They were there. One witness had got shot in the leg. Jam Master Jay was shot at his studio in Queens, in Jamaica, Queens, New York. And he was shot in the head and he was killed. And the witnesses that had come forth have identified the 2 individuals that are on trial today and one who is the shooter. So that is going on in New York City. And just real quick on that is I remember that night I went to turn off the television in the living room and I saw the news. And I live maybe about 8 minutes away from the studio where Jam Master Jay got shot. So I got in my car. I just got dressed, got in my car, went up there. It's close to 11 o'clock in the night. When I got up there, it's a group of people. I mean, from Chuck D from Public Enemy, my guy, Bugs from, you hear Mount Fly on Sirius XM, and he's on WBLS, and a whole host of other people that knew Jam Master Jay, that we were up there and we stayed up there until they brought his body out. So, again, prayers to the family as they have to kind of relive this as the trial goes through. And then on a celebration note, today is the 18th anniversary of Reverend Sharpton and myself doing Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton. I'm not one of the hosts. He is the host, of course, of his nationally syndicated radio show. But I've been the executive producer of that show since its inception on the radio. And on this day, 18 years ago, I had to show my producing chops because Reverend Sharpton called me at 5:45 and said, Mrs. Coretta Scott King passed. So 18 years ago today, Mrs. Coretta King passed. And by the time we got off speaking, we spoke to Ozzie Davis, Ruby Dee. We spoke with Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and others, Martin Luther King III, about the life and legacy of Mrs. Coretta Scott King. So as you say, Joe, we're approaching Black History Month. Know your Black history. We talk about Dr. King, but the legacy of Mrs. King during the life when Dr. King was living, and as well as when Dr. King was assassinated, she picked up the mantle and continued to move forward on the fight for civil rights and human rights here in America and abroad.
Hey, man, that's something to be applauded. Not only do you need to know your national civil rights and Black history and those of color who have did great things, know your local folks. Know your local folks. Know folks in your own backyard who have did great things in the small city, town, in the neighborhood that you live in. There are folks of color doing great things all over the place. So, know those folks. Get to know them. If they're still living, speak to them and tell them you appreciate the sacrifices that they made. We had a man here that's gone on. He was a part of the mindset movement here, who was Fred Prejean. And right now, when I was in government, and I'm sure they're still working on it, they're working on EJI, a Equal Justice Initiative landmark of showing the individuals who suffered the brutalness of lynching in this area. So they're working on putting a landmark up that will be a part of the Civil Rights Trail and the African American Trail that the Lieutenant Governor here in this state, Billy Nungusser, has been working on. And if you ever get a chance, hashtag on that, note that one, go down to the Civil Rights Museum that they have set up right beside the convention center, which I think will be huge for this 30th anniversary of Essence. Yeah, that part. So on the tip of Black History Month, two things we're doing here for Black History Month. One thing is, let me go solo bolo for a minute. One thing is we are supporting businesses. So if you have a business and you want to put your business in the feed, share this, click like, share, put your business in the feed. From this day all the way to the end of February, we are showing all kind of businesses that are Black owned, minority owned, that can help you. And we're doing it free of charge. So if you want to promote your business, it is free of charge from now until the 1st of March. And this is another great business that is Black owned. www.crosspcworld.com, crosspcworld.com. They do everything from working on computers, computer sales. They do website design, website maintenance. Listen, these people are the truth. Hashtag they the truth. truth be told. So check them out. Check them out. They're one of the individuals, and I can't leave the ladies out as I get ready to bring Shauna in. Listen, y'all ladies are really about wanting to look good and have your cosmetics now. Now, I don't know if the website's up yet, but the Cloud9 Cosmetic Co-shops at myspotify.com. Listen, this is my girl, Vivi. Vivi is at Virginia Beach. Listen, I'm touching folks all over the world. You ain't got to be just in Louisiana for me to promote your business. Vivi and her business is off the chain. This lady got some cosmetics for Black women. When I tell you her cosmetics are banging, they are banging. So tell a friend to tell a friend. Listen, go right now. You can go to social media and type in Cloud9 Cosmetics. You'll see her on Facebook. You'll see her on Instagram. Listen, this sister's got some cosmetics, and not only that, she has some great apparel for women of color. So I'm definitely going to show her love. Listen, you ain't got to be in the local area. We're promoting businesses all over the United States and the world. So if you have a business, you can either put it in the feed or you can inbox us. We will definitely make you a banner and throw it up there and let people know about you. Of course, we started out with my good friend, Mr. Antonio Cope, doing this thing with brothersbowties.com. And let me tell you, if you go to that website, them bow ties be banging. And listen, if you're a sneakerhead, I say it once, I say it twice, I say it again, keepemlace.com. So good morning. 21 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. And before I bring Shauna in, because Shauna, you know, she always got to say what she got to say. And we're going to be doing her segment that says, I said what I said, because she said it. And I ain't mad at her. She's supposed to say it. Family, wake up, get up, all that good stuff. I'm running around here hitting all kind of buttons. Yeah, all that stuff. See there? You see how I am fatigued? Look
I see that. You didn't even change your calendar back there. So, folks, today is not the 29th.
Right.
Today is the 30th.
Hold it. Today is the 30th.
Now you know my memory bad, sir.
The day is the 30th. And with that being said, while I change a few things, ladies and gentlemen, my girl, Shauna Sayers, better known as the Conduit, and she said what she said. Come on in the room. Let's get it.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. We didn't rehearse any of this. I had no idea Joe was going to give me a topic, but since he did, I want to make a comment about a post that received some engagement on yesterday on my page. The post said, let me get to it, Lord. Ain't no teenage girl, quote, fast enough to catch a grown man that ain't attracted to children. Okay, so that was the post that was made. My question to that post was agree, question mark, disagree, question mark. Okay, now I want to thank everybody for the engagement under that post. That's what I utilize social media for. A lot of people may call it controversial, but without challenging certain statements, ideas, and things like that, you'll never get other people's point of view, nor will you ever fix something that's damaged. Okay, so I want to be clear on that. I utilize my social media for conversation that will get change. If it comes across as controversial, it's usually because you're trying to stop the change. But with that said, as it relates to that post, I, Shauna Sayers, disclaimer, I represent no one and no entity at this time. I represent no board or even membership of any entity. This is my statements and what I believe. It is not appropriate under any circumstances for an adult male or female to have inappropriate relationships with minors. I don't care how they dress, how they carry themselves or how fast they are. There is no female or male child that should be able to seduce, coerce, or trick, nor trap an adult. That is absolutely inappropriate. That is misusing and abusing your power as an adult. And it is because of victimizing the victim sort of mentality. That's part of the reason why women have to wait so long to report their violations. 20, 30, 40 years sometimes. Why? Because we have to be able to get the confidence, the courage, and the strength to be able to deal with the foolish backlash of blame. I do not, I need my young girls and young boys to understand this. It is not okay ever. That is not what love is. That is not what love is. And it is also not your fault. We need, as parents, as the village, we need to begin to address why our young girls are promiscuous so soon. And it's not just the parents' fault. Because again, I'm a vulnerable person. I'm a teacher. I'm a nurse. Therefore, I'm a nurturer and an educator by birth. I'm telling you, any young girl who needs that kind of love from a grown man is because she's hurting in here.
She's hurting to the young boys too. It happens to the young boys too now.
They're hurting in here. Something is missing in there. The definition of love has been misconstrued for them. So because the adult knows that, that's what they target. That's manipulation. That's really when you need some mental health counseling, not chastising. It's not a child's fault. It wasn't my fault. Stop it. And I'm talking to the adults. Stop taking the innocence of a child, because even though he or she might be fast, they're still innocent. They only are introduced to the things adults show them. From 0 to 18. Don't do it. It's inappropriate. And I said
what I said.
What I said.
She said it. She said it. You better put that in your pipe and smoke it. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. That part. Fatim, that's deep. That was
very deep. So let me I jotted down a couple of quick points here. First of all, let me just say the first thing, please, I always ask people to listen, because sometimes they zero in on what they want to hear and don't hear the whole statement. I totally agree with Shauna, and I'm glad that she raised this subject this morning, because this is something that we don't talk about, and we don't even know how to talk about this with our children today. And one of the things I had to explain to my younger daughter, you got to realize I have two daughters, they're grown now, 31 and 28. But my baby girl, that's my baby girl, and that was our last child. When she liked to come on daddy and sit on the lap and whatever, and lay on my back or whatever. But when she got older, I had to explain that even though I'm your father and I respect you, you as a young lady, you have to be conscious and aware that you are a growing young lady, and be aware of your body. And this is where you have to have real talk, because I remember days, I think it was Nancy Reagan, the wife of former President Ronald Reagan, saying, just say no to drugs. And my late wife, Hanifa, would say, you know, my mother used to say, just keep your legs closed. Keep your legs closed. So she understood that because she was a virgin, but she didn't know what comes with that feeling once she gets stimulated. You understand what I'm saying? We have to have real conversation with folks. Some of my fifth grade classmates was already having sex.
Come on, say that again.
Okay. Some of my fifth grade friends, classmates were already having sex.
Come on.
They had sex with a young lady in the school, got caught by administration, parents called up. This is years ago, so things are dealt differently. They wasn't suspended. Again, things are different today. This is not today. This was yesteryear. Okay. But they wasn't suspended. You know why they wasn't suspended? Because they said the girl was a willing participant. Fifth grade. This young lady doesn't know exactly what she's doing. And these guys don't. But the feeling.
And when you were in the fifth grade, what decade was that? Was that the 70s or the 80s?
That was the 70s. 73.
That was the 70s.
1973. So I was 11 years old. 11 years old. So what Shauna is saying is we have to have this real talk, because if we could, that's what I said yesterday. What the older folks have done is they hid things from us because they didn't think we were able to handle it, or it was just for adults. But they forgot what was going on in the back room when they told the children to go in the back room or downstairs in the basement in the church. Okay, so let's talk about this. But there's something else, Sister Shauna, that we got to talk about. And I'm wearing a New York Yankees shirt today. Okay, and there was a Yankee ball player. I can't call his name, and I don't need to call his name. But he was entrapped by a minor. And you said, Sister Shauna, that is no way that we as adults should ever deal with a minor. But there are minors out there that look and develop like a woman. They have fake ID and they move in circles with adults. And what happened is this New York Yankee had relations with this young lady. He asked her for ID. She presented a fake ID. What else is he supposed to do? She's on the road hanging out with adults. The state brought statutory rape charges against him. So that's why I said you got to be very, very careful. And where does the responsibility lie? At the end of the day, when people are moving in adult circles, looking like adults, but are minors in this entrapment. So we got to be conscious.
Where do the parents parents of a person who looks like adult and acts like an adult, where are they held responsible as parents? You don't know where your kids are at 2, 3, 4 in the morning? I'm just asking. Well,
the bottom line is we always want to put this on the parents, and Sister Shauna said it. You know, sometimes it's not the blame of the parents, and you got to realize everybody doesn't come from a household. They're in a household with their grandmother, their auntie, or other guardians. Parents not there. Remember what I said the other day? People having children are not adults all the time because they still operate with childlike minds. So that's why we can't always sit there and blame the parents at the end of the day. We want to blame the parents. And yes, the responsibility does fall on the guardians and the parents at the end of the day. But we're talking about how people tend to move. I dealt with younger people, 5th grade having sex. Imagine when they got 16, how they move. People 15 and 16 in my community move like young adults.
Move
like young adults. And that didn't mean they were irresponsible. But I'm just trying to say to you, Joe, a parent don't know every move of their child at the end of the day. So you have to be careful. I just used the Yankee as an example, but it could be somebody up at somebody's house that, hey, where's your ID? Or I'm been with so-and-so. We have to be careful.
Right. Well, join in on the conversation. Man, this is a good place to pause for the calls. Join in on the conversation. 225-250-8770. You know, we have the conduit on here, Miss Shauna Sias, and she said what she said, and you can put that in your pipe and smoke it. But she brought up something very, very interesting on this Tell the Truth Tuesday. Tell the truth. Hold up. Y'all shouldn't be getting enticed by these young girls who look like grown women. Y'all shouldn't be getting enticed by these young boys that look like grown men. Hold on, before I go there, truth be told, There's a bunch of teachers out there sleeping with a bunch of boys on them football teams. Truth be told, hashtag truth be told on that. There's a lot of women out there. They got some young boys that are 16, 17, 15, 16, and 17. Them big young boys that are middle linebackers and, them big young athletic looking boys that are 15, 16, and 17. They laying down with some 30, 40, 20-year-old women.
What I personally do, people always ask me, what you do? What you do? And my answer is always, I do a lot. But one part of what I do is I try to get into the root of the why. Okay. I'm a nurse. I will not check your blood sugar and then treat you without asking you, are you allergic to anything? That's what we're doing as it relates to this. We are punishing both the adults and the children sometimes, but we are not getting to the root of the why. If in the instance that you mentioned, that's more of an exception to the rule. That's not the usual. And it may vary from state to state and accessibility, but I can assure you, in these small communities, you can present any ID you want. We know who your mama is, who your grandma is. We know already.
Right.
We know already. And yet still we'll blame the child for being too fast. They acting like an adult. Well, if they're acting like an adult, what are you acting like then?
Especially if you know it's a child. Like you said, in small communities where everybody know everybody. You're right. That's where
Absolutely.
You really got to look at folks and say, there is a problem here, and it's far beyond the problem of, because children only emulate what they see.
Absolutely.
In most cases.
Because let me tell you this. I'll give you another exception. My mother didn't drink, didn't smoke, and didn't cuss. If she said ass, shit, or damn, you was in trouble. And I mean deep trouble. That's not what I did, though. And why did I do that? Because I struggled when I found out I was adopted. I felt that I didn't belong. I felt that I didn't compare to my siblings. All of that was some me stuff. That didn't have anything to do with how my mom and daddy raised me, baby. I was in pageants and music and dance, and I was in everything. All of that stuff that I say parents have to do, my mom and them did all that. And I was still, quote, fast. But why? I didn't address the why until I was 32.
You have to address the why. And this is a sickness out here. R. Kelly is the most recent poster child of this, but he ain't the only one that has been an adult, been an entertainer, or a high-profile individual that has dealt with minors. And there's a sickness there. And not to say that as a pass, but there are things that, as Sister Shauna said, we need to go to the why, because if we address the why, hopefully we can catch some of these situations out here when these issues are affecting those in our community. Also, we talked about adults and minors having sex, being promiscuous. So, Joe, you talked about 15, 16, and 17-year-old folks that are dealing with adults. So what is the difference with a 21-year-old and a 17-year-old? There's not much of a difference of age, but there's a difference of legal adult. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So what is the difference there? Because a lot of us as parents know that our children are not virgins. Some are not just going to stay virgins. That old school of staying a virgin till you get married, that's out the window.
Mine are.
If that's what you choose to do, that's fine. You understand? If you want to tote your daughter to see if her hymen is broken as an adult, and that's up to you. But let's be real. And we had these talks with my daughter, and my wife taught them about condoms, and I disagreed when I walked in the kitchen and they're still in elementary school. And I kind of jumped on my wife and said, what are you doing? And my wife turned to me and said, they will learn it from me. They will not learn it from out there.
Right.
And when she said that, I had to sleep on it. When I woke up the next morning, I told her I apologize and I agree with you. I agree with you. Because if we don't teach them, then the streets will teach them, and they will not teach them with the love and compassion that we will teach them.
That part. That's real talk.
100% agree. I know when my parent, and it wasn't my dad. Okay, my dad didn't have that conversation with me. That was my mama's job. But my mom, pretty much, this was her conversation. Don't do it. Don't do that. You get pregnant, I'm gonna put you out. That was it. That was it. You would think that I wouldn't have done it. What you think I did?
You did it.
I want to see. I want to try.
Because that statement of don't doing it, which I just said, keep your legs closed, and you're talking to somebody. Remember I said about emotion? When you start feeling something you've never felt, and that's a good feeling. Y'all know what a good feeling is when it comes down to
that profile feeling.
That's addicting, and you lose your mind. You lose logic at the end of the day. And I mean, when you're having that conversation, a parent can't explain that, but they can give it to you a little bit better. Baby, you're going to feel something that you ain't never felt before. And I know it may be tempting, but I'm telling you, just the same way as you talked about, Sister Shauna, people had told me about crack and certain other things. I decided, look, because they told me about it and how it made them feel, but the final outcome, I didn't have to try it. So we got to trust the relationship that we have with our children and the children with their parents. And some things we have to be honest with, but they may not be able to experience what we're talking about. But at least we give them the tools, the best tools, to arm them with themselves to go out in this world and be successful.
You know, I want to say I mentioned this yesterday, the conversation that I had with my daughters about sex. I told them what the Bible said, you know, because I'm a Christian, period. I'm here from that man of that. The Bible say, don't do that. But I know y'all don't listen. So I in turn also told them of what might happen after. Not just the fact that you might get a disease that's incurable. So the pregnancy would be the least of your concern with some of the diseases you can get, right? I said you're also going to have to deal with the fact that you may never talk to him again. He may not ever want to see you. He may not even acknowledge your existence no more. And that feeling from experience is crushing. But
the mental aspect.
Yes. And because that will then lead to you trying to find that in every man. But that's not the conversation that I had with my son. Okay. I couldn't tell my son I told him, son, the Bible says you're not supposed to have sex. Now we know you not gonna listen. So you must use protection at all times. Not gonna show you how to put that on. You're gonna have to Google that. Okay. But I also want you to remember how your mama felt when it happened to her.
So, Shauna, you made me laugh. You said, I'm not going to show you how to put it on. Just go get a Google. I'm in the era of refrigerator.
No, I'm not getting no bottle. I'm not doing none of that. Nope.
Well, you know, that was a good humorous moment right there. It is 43 minutes past the hour. You know, Shauna said what she said, and family, we're going to have to get deeper into this conversation because guess what? Human trafficking, right now, along with the sex business, the sex industry, sex itself. I mean, Fatima and I had a off script conversation not too very long ago. You'd be surprised how many teachers, how many nurses, how many students, how many office workers, have their OnlyFans pages that you don't know absolutely nothing about. and are doing some things that if you knew they had the page and knew what they were doing, you'd be like, wait a minute.
My answer to that is this.
Uh-oh, here we go.
If you pay me right, I wouldn't have to try to supplement my income.
Okay.
And
that's policing bodies. Stop. Pay me.
Right.
I was telling that to my brother the other day. When I started working, minimum wage was $3.75.
Oh God! You was in the Flintstones?
Minimum wage now is only $7.45, and I'm 48 years old. And so human trafficking, all of that, it's not new. It just got another name.
Yeah.
The whole nation was founded from selling stuff.
Yeah, Joe.
Come on.
I know you want to move on. I just got to say this because this is very important. We keep talking about the parents, but one of the things that we don't, and this is my closing statement on the last topic because I know we're moving forward, is that we tend to not look at our family members. We tend to look outside when it comes to our children. Understand? There was somebody, I don't want to give too much of this information, but there's a young lady who was an adult, and I was in my early 20s. She was a virgin. She had a younger sister that talked more promiscuous. I didn't know that she was already active in sex. She told me in the most recent years, now this is years ago, she's an adult woman. She said that she was molested by her uncle. And she was scared.
We got to talk about that.
Yeah, she was scared to tell anyone. See, we tend to look at outside people, but we don't look at our family members. And she was molested by her uncle. But what she told me next surprised me. She said, Fatim, when you first was doing it, of course, I was turned off, but I was scared. But as he continued to do it, the feeling got good to me.
Okay.
And she said the feeling got good to me to the point that that's what created my curiosity and me as a young, I can't call her adult. She was still a teenager where she became more sexually active because of that good feeling. And she looks back at it now and she says that who she is today, she's more responsible. She's married, have children. But she said a lot of people would not have believed her if she told about her uncle, but a lot of people get turned off. She said she was turned on but she never was exposed to that. So that's why I'm saying we have to be very careful when we send our kids over to so-and-so house and we think because we're blood and we're family and this, that, and the other, that our children will be well protected. And I'll tell you, children will hide things from you, because my daughter hid a couple things from me, and I asked her later, why did you hide this? Because Daddy, I know what you would have done, and I didn't want you to go to jail. Right.
So we're going to dedicate a whole show to this conversation. Shauna, when you said what you said, you done open up a whole can, as my good friend would say. You don't open up a whole can over here, so we're going to get into that conversation. Look, I want to take time out.
Joe, wait. You ain't notice it? What's wrong, Shauna?
Yeah, I noticed.
Something hit you just now, Shauna.
Come on. Talk to me, Shauna. You good? You good, my sister? Come on, speak on it. Speak on it. No, speak on it. This is our, that's what we use this for. This is our safe space. I put you up here. I put you on solo to speak on it because somebody needs to hear. These are real tears. I just now noticed because I was trying to get ready for the happy birthday and the anniversary shouts, but no, I'm going to hold tight because we're on a subject right now that we need to continue to talk about, because not only is Shauna probably crying, there's probably somebody out there listening. There's probably somebody who's been through the same thing in some shape, form, or fashion. I know some men who went through this. They don't want to tell nobody, but they went through it. Yeah, they went through it. They went through young men with because they look good, they were athletic. They went through this with some with family members, some with folk who weren't family members. Shauna, the floor is yours.
Oh, hurt don't have no time limit. I don't even know how to arrange these thoughts. So I'm literally gonna do what I learned in therapy to pull them out of the air. So they may not make sense. Okay. Yep. I knew that I shouldn't have done it. I knew that it was wrong, but he told me he loved me though. I'm only young right now. When the other man told me this is where I'm gonna stop. And I know none of that made sense, but I know Edward Brown would understand what I just did. And it brought me to this experience. I remember, and I won't say their name because to this day, I just told this to my brother the other day, and I'm 48 years old. I remember a grown man one time. I walked into the room because I was told to. And on the TV, there was porn. And he walked over to the TV and he turned it off and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry. If you ever want to try and if that, let me know." I didn't know what I was watching. So when I got home, I started experimenting on what it was. And it took me over 30 years to say that an adult that I trusted took my innocence from me. And to this day, I still see him. I've not said a word. He's not said a word. So to anybody that bashes a woman because she didn't say it when it happened, it's because y'all gonna say it was our fault. That's why we don't say anything. But let me tell you, young ladies, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. And the way that you're feeling, those are adult feelings. You can't process adult feelings. You have to learn to get comfortable in who you are. Nothing a man can give you is going to make you feel better. Nothing. Joe, take me off.
Let me just,
all
Joe,
right.
you want to go, Joe?
So I'm letting Shauna be out for a minute. Family, this is why we do this. See, we unscripted. We ain't here for click, like, and share, but that needed to be heard by somebody because somebody out there dealing with that same thing. You know, many a times in this thing I do called media and talk media and morning shows, you know, I have shedded my share of tears. I have went through my gambit of emotions because life be lifing. And, you know, no matter where you're at in life, no matter what age you are in life, you know, when you've dealt with some traumatic situations. And this is why we do what we do right here. You know, I appreciate that Shauna had to completely log off, and I'm glad she did. But I'm so proud of her that she told her truth today. That hashtag truth be told, because you've got to release it somewhere. Now, Shauna may come back. She may call back. But family, that's why we're here. We're here to talk about the uncomfortable things, not where Fatim and Joe, we give you a platform. You know, you feel free to call in. 225-250-8770. That's why we put the number up there. To be exact, I'm telling you right now, this show is only, we're gonna keep this show rolling until about the 30 of the next hour. We're 6 minutes to the top of the hour. We're probably going to end it at 9:30 Central Time, 10:30 Eastern Time, which will be 7:30 on the West Coast. But this is why we're here, to talk about the uncomfortable conversation that even us as co-hosts have dealt with, that we're not ashamed to tell you our story, that it might bring some validation to your story or make you feel that you're not the only person that went through this, Brother Fatim.
So, I wish Sister Jax was here, because this is what she does. This is what she does, and she would have been able to take this a little even further than I can go. And one of the things, and like Joe said, and not definitely Joe, not blaming Joe, was trying to converse on the show, be the point guard, and also operate the show. You understand? We don't have a producer behind the scenes. Joe is doing everything. But I noticed something touched Shauna, and I guess it was the story I told about my friend who was molested by her uncle. And what happened just now happens in real life, is that we don't see people's pain sometimes. Sometimes we say things and we're worried about saying and how we feel. We don't focus on the person that we're talking to and their responses. We could have just glossed over that. If we'd have glossed over that, Shauna would have not stopped. She would have not stopped. Not to say that she wanted to do this. And as she talked, she most likely has been through therapy. But I'm talking to Sister Shauna now, and if she looks back at this, or however she does, is that your love sister, you've been through a traumatic situation, and you're still feeling pain. It looks like you do have a therapist, because you mentioned it before, and I'm glad that you have sought help. No matter how strong you sound, how strong you look, we still have vulnerabilities there. We are real people. We laugh, and we also cry, and we hurt at times. So, folks, there's a lot of pain out there. So you got to be respectful. Sometimes I'm talking to us men right now. You might be in the street and you might say something to a young lady, and she may not respond, and you may have a negative response. You don't know if that young lady just lost a loved one. You don't know. So at the end of the day, it's not just about you. So don't become selfish in the I. It's about us and we. And we have to have compassion and have to have concern out there. You understand? This is a very traumatic situation for Sister Shauna. Like she said, she still sees the person. She doesn't say anything to the person about this, and the person, vice versa, doesn't say anything to her about this. But she's hurting inside. And I'm glad she's getting help, because some people will eventually lash out and try to physically do harm. So I pray that Sister Shauna continues to get help and assistance with this. And we got to realize that we come on here and we put on that smiling face. And not that we all are in pain, but we do experience heartbreak at times. So just be considerate that someone may be going through something besides yourself.
Very true. Very true. It's 2 minutes to the top of the hour. And in my spirit, Brother Fatim, we do this on a daily basis. We do it for an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. But out of respect of our friend and our co-host, Shauna Sias, better known as the Conduit. This is one of the times I'm going to tell you, don't click like and share because we need it. Click like and share because what was said needs to be heard and is valuable. That lady literally spilled out her truth be told on this podcast, from a point of what can I do to say to somebody, hey, you're not in this alone. If you've experienced this also and you've had it bottled up and you see that person every day and not a word is being said amongst you, guess what? Truth be told, you're going to be all right, because I could not be here. Situations like that have been known to take some folk out. That's why suicide is at such a high rate in communities of colors, because people bottle that in and say, I don't need to live. Shauna said, not only am I living, I'm living to tell you the story where the mistake that happened with me may not happen with you. Get it out, get help, find somebody. My good friend, Edward J. Brown, Positive Choices Counseling Service. If you need somebody to talk to, a counselor, let me see, do I even have it here? Because I'm like, man, I'm just really, woo. This was one of the woo moments. So
it's real moments, man. This is life.
So family, right now, while we're talking, somebody's dying. Right now, while we're talking, somebody's getting molested. Right now, while we're talking, somebody is being murdered. Right now, while we're talking, some horrendous act is happening somewhere on this planet. And my question to everyone as I get ready to let you go is, what are you doing to make this world a better place? Brother Fatim, I'm going to give you some closing words and we're going to get up out of here.
Well, you know, in life, there are moments where we have to deal with this. And sometimes you're not prepared to deal with this. We didn't know that this was going to happen. That's why I said to you before that the beauty of this platform that you have provided is a real platform. And we just don't know where we are going to go. There's going to be times where we all going to agree, and there's going to be times where we disagree. And there's going to be some time that we're going to have to pull on our heartstrings. So what I just say again, I don't need to add a lot to this morning, and I don't want to leave us on a down moment. But all I'm saying is, remember, folks, that we are human. We experience so many different emotions, from joy to pain, hurt, sorrow, and just remember, love on someone, just like you may need someone to love on yourself. And that's my final thoughts right there.
Amen. Brother Fatim, I appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow for Work It Out Wednesday. Yeah. And we're going to end with something that I feel is fitting for where we're leaving out as. So be blessed. Have a good one. Have a great day.
The night turned cold. The stars look down. And you hug yourself on the cold, cold ground. You wake the morning in a stranger's cold. No one would just see. You ask yourself, watch for me, my only friend.